Hello, my name is Hannah Douglas. From an early age, I've always had a fascination for the ocean and with the life within it. This is something that's continued and brought me to rock pools, seashores, and even to scuba diving. It brought me to the study of marine science and eventually to becoming a scuba instructor myself. I also have a love of yoga, art, and of scientific communication. In June of this year, 2022, I was lucky enough to be awarded the European Our World Underwater Scholarship. Winning this scholarship gave me the opportunity to travel for the first time to New York City. In New York, I got to meet some incredible people that I've looked up to for my entire life. We also got to travel to the UN HQ for World Oceans Day and hear talks from policymakers and marine conservationists. It was incredible to be in New York for the first time in my life, but soon it was time to leave. I headed to the island of Bali in Indonesia, where I took my first steps into the realm of freediving. We began with static breath holds in the pool and soon moved on to dynamic apnea. It wasn't long before we were in the blue Balinese Ocean. It was here, overlooked by the incredible volcanic mountains of Ahmed, that I built up to my first ever free dive to 20 meters. Everything in my scuba diver brain was screaming at me for holding my breath. After years of being told and then telling others, the number one rule of scuba diving is do not hold your breath. Within freediving, holding your breath is the rule. I was amazed by the quiet serenity that I found below the surface. Watching the movement of the rays of sunlight dancing in the water, I really felt at home. It was fascinating also to learn about the links between yoga, mindfulness, and freediving from my instructor, Adam Sellers. After just a few days in Bali, it was time to say goodbye and head to northern Sulawesi to meet the brilliant underwater photographer Saeed Rashid. Science communication, the link between the public and academics, has been an interest of mine for a long time. In the modern world, a central part of this storytelling process is videography and photography. For this reason, I was excited to follow up both a creative and scientific interest of mine and learn how to use my new camera setup. In Sulawesi, we stayed in Tatik Ria Resort, where I had the opportunity to dive in the beautiful Bunaken National Park. Here we were conducting daily coral wall dives, and each evening we discussed our photos and camera settings. I learned so much from Saeed and the others on the course. During week 2, we were based in the beautiful Dive into Lembe, the perfect location to learn about macro photography, as its famous muck dive sites of black volcanic sand are absolutely teeming with intricate and beautiful life. We saw species that I never imagined meeting in person. The variety of fascinating and specialist adaptations that each species had was a marvel to witness firsthand. And my longtime love of nudibranchs was well and truly fulfilled. At the same time though, it was hard to witness the obvious impact of man-made pollution on these habitats. I was struck by the ingenuity of some species to adapt and use this pollution to their advantage. The compulsion on any dive is to remove rubbish, but what if it's become someone's home? I found in a number of cases that bottles, both glass and plastic, were being used by damselfish to protect their eggs. I was sad when it came time to leave Indonesia and say goodbye for now to the incredible group of divers that I had met and learned so much from. In Bali, I had had a first tantalizing taste of freediving, and I wanted to learn more and delve deeper into this world. This goal brought me to Grand Cayman, where I met Kurt Crack, a pioneering freediving instructor, reunited with Millie and Rosie, my fellow 2022 OWUSS Scholars. In our first few days, we covered theory classes on freediving physiology and the mechanisms of breath retention. Each morning of the course would start before breakfast with stretching and breathing exercises, and then after the morning's lecture, hit the pool and practice static breath holds. It was incredible to see the progression that everyone on the course had in just 1 week. By the end, almost everyone found that they were able to hold their breath comfortably for over 4 minutes. Unfortunately, our progress was cut short as some of our group contracted COVID and had to isolate. After our time as hermits in isolation, we couldn't dive straight away as we needed medical clearance, so instead we explored the sights and sounds of Grand Cayman. We went to the Grand Cayman Turtle Center and happened to befriend some local turtle researchers who invited us to help out at a hatchling release that week. Before we knew it, we had gotten clearance to get back into the water. It felt amazing to be back after so long. However, sadly, I managed to contract an ear infection, which put a further stall in my free diving progression. It was very disheartening, but I'm still so grateful from what I learned from Kirk and the other instructors on the course, and I'm excited to someday go back and continue my progression in freediving. With ears full of antibiotics, I packed my bags and headed across the world to Finland. I travelled to Tsvarmina Zoological Research Station to take part in an intensive 6 weeks of training with the Finnish Scientific Diving Academy. The course was a combination of classroom lectures and practical diving and report writing. We began with first aid, O2 administration, and neurological assessment training, both on land and out on the water. Our instructors, Ed Stockdale and Beatrice Riviera, covered every aspect of working as an occupational scientific diver. Each day of the course, we were covering a new data collection technique, both its theory and implementation. From benthic coring, looking at sedimentology and infauna, to video and photo data collection. It was brilliant to get to use my newfound camera skills for science and for exploring the local environment. Tsvarmina Zoological Research Station is located at the heart of a long-standing nature reserve, which means that the amount of pristine wildlife that we saw during the course was incredible, both above and below the water. We learnt to use full face masks for an extra level of safety and for in-water communications. Being able to communicate detailed information with each other and with the surface opened up a whole new range of opportunities for our scientific diving. During the course, we also built up our independence on the dive boats, navigating the intricacies of the Hanko archipelago. Once we had mastered this and the other data collection techniques, we began developing and conducting our own research projects. We surveyed a seagrass meadow using OWUSS underwater GPS technology. In our second project, we assessed the growth patterns of tiny sessile epifauna on natural as compared to artificial substrate. It felt awesome to be carrying out science underwater once again. In our last project, we looked at blue mussel growth and size distribution across various depth bands. Each of these projects had their own challenges, but each time we overcame these, there was a huge sense of achievement, and without a doubt, a learning in this hands-on way will be invaluable when it comes to setting up my own independent research projects. My time in Finland was filled with growth and learning, due not only to the well-structured course, practical hands-on experience and excellent instructors, but also to the magic of the location. I'm excited to have found such a beautiful corner of the world and to have met such passionate fellow science divers. At the end of September, I headed home to Ireland and on to County Cork on the southwest coast to begin my commercial diving training. Here in the National Fisheries College of Ireland, We've been covering everything from knotwork and splicing, gas calculations and hyperbaric chambers. It has been fascinating to learn about the industry of commercial diving, its history and current regulations. Every day we begin with classroom lectures, recapping last night's homework, and then head out to the barge, a specially made training setup which mimics a diving platform used for construction or even oil rig work. It has been interesting to learn about the specific equipment setup, personnel ratios, and various laws that legislate for commercial diving. This will be vital for my future work in the scientific industry. The barge has its own recompression chamber, and on the course I've been lucky enough to experience my first chamber dive to 40 metres, and the joys thereof. We're coming to the end of the course and have had several sets of exams so far. It's been challenging but rewarding. I'm excited to continue my scholarship journey this year and really look forward to what the future holds. Thank you so much to all of my hosts, sponsors, and my awesome coordinators, without which none of this would have been feasible. Thank you to Rolex and the Our World Underwater Scholarship Society for your belief and support of my dreams.
And that brings us back to today. So I really hope you enjoyed my mid-year video, and I hope you have a great rest of your time at DEMA, and I'll see you guys in New York. Bye!